Welcome everyone to the latest edition of Next Play. This is our one-on-one series that we hold with former student athletes, current student athletes, and today we have Aaron Maione. Aaron has been a longtime advocate and member of the blue chip community, and we're really excited to have him. He is a recent graduate of Davidson College, played football for Davidson, and now he is, after pursuing and securing his bachelor's in communications, he's looking for his first big opportunity. So we're really excited to have him. Aaron, welcome.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited about this. This is just a free-flowing one-on-one. We're going to shoot from the hip and try to do some rapid-fire Q&A with you, if that works.
Let's do it.
Okay, so if your future self, Aaron, could talk to you today, right? What would you say to yourself?
I think I would keep it really simple, and I think it's as simple as everything's gonna work itself out. You know, in the moment you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, your anxiety is through the roof, and I think that you just have to take a step back, take a deep breath, and think about how this moment doesn't define you, it doesn't define who you are. And I think that can translate in sports, and off the field settings as well, and all struggles throughout your life. Time will move on, sun rises the next morning, and you'll have more chances to redeem yourself. And thinking about on the field, there's been games where I've fumbled 4 times and I felt like I was the worst player on the field. And off the field, there's tests where I've had grades that I'm not necessarily very proud of at the moment, but looking back at all the successes and failures that I've had, I feel like they combine and intertwine themselves into the person I am today, into lessons and scenarios that make you who you are.
Yeah, conviction, right? Everybody has their own program. You just have to stick to the program. So what part of your student athlete experience do you think gives you a competitive edge as you look to enter the job market?
I would say the top 3 off the bat would be discipline, resilience, and for me, leadership. I feel like these are, 3 qualities that I've been able to develop through, training regimens, game environments, balancing academics on top of that. And then you want to add in a social life in addition. Balancing all 4 of those stages is a ridiculously hard task for a student athlete. But, I think managing your time, prioritizing the important things of your life is really, really important, and not getting lost in the sports or academic aspects, and finding time for yourself and your friends and your family to really enjoy and be present in the moment and stay grounded. But I think managing all those, demanding tasks, it keeps you organized, it helps you perform under pressure, and all of these skills combine themselves into, ways that you can help yourself and help a company in a professional environment, and skills that other people outside of the student athlete experience don't necessarily get to develop during their college career. So I feel like I'm very, lucky and thankful for that. And beyond that, being a part of a team and how to collaborate with others and achieve a shared goal. I mean, for me, playing college football, you have 100+ guys from all over the country with different backgrounds and different cultures, and finding a way to go in there with 100+ guys and compete to win games and be successful for yourself, for your team in the league, and represent your college and your university in the right way on and off the field, I think is a really big deal. And you put all that together and you get a pretty good hell of a candidate to having your company and help grow and prosper and be successful in the future.
A well-rounded answer from a well-rounded person. I mean, the companies, I'm serious, the companies that really appreciate kind of the work-life balance, they want to hear that. They want their people to exhibit the fact that, yeah, I have priorities, right? Work fits in a certain place in my order, but so does the rest of my life. So that's good to hear, man. I appreciate hearing that answer. So you're talking, I'm sure, to a lot of hiring managers, some recruiters. If I, as a recruiter, knew only your stats, right, on the stat sheet or on the team's website, what would I be missing about you?
You're missing a whole lot if you're to look at my stats at this point. But no, I think they're missing a lot of skills and qualities that, you know, can't be quantified by statistics. Of course, it's great. I mean, I've had games where I've had 100+ receiving yards, and I've had games where I've had 0 receiving yards, and you know that doesn't measure, you know, the effort that's put in, you know, your mindset, you know, with pressure in the moment, you know, being a leader in the huddle, being a captain, being a 2-time captain for myself, I think is extremely important. And, you know, that isn't shown on the stat sheet. You know, you have to look behind the scenes to, there's been so many early mornings, late nights watching film, balancing tough classes and workouts. And like I'd said, the social life, if you were to look at the stat sheet, you are missing 99% of who that athlete is and what they do in their daily life to be successful, and, you know, just to be a human being and enjoy their experiences. So the stat sheet's great if you go out there and you're very successful on the field or the court or whatever your sport is, and I think that's fantastic, and you've worked really hard to get to that point. But there's people that have worked really hard to get to the same point and haven't seen the same success. So you know, there's a lot of behind the scenes qualities and skills that recruiters would be missing if they look just at the stat sheet.
Yeah, and you've probably experienced some of this already. It's been a couple of months that you've been out there sort of looking. The good ones, the good hiring managers, the good recruiters who want to find the best fit for you as a candidate initially entering the workforce, they're gonna create an environment where you'll be comfortable telling that story. Right? You're not just a number on a sheet of paper. You're not just a resume. There's a whole lot behind the paper. So yeah, it sounds like you're in a position where you're comfortable sharing that and telling that story. That's really important for those companies who want to hire people, right?
Mhm.
Not just numbers, not just heads.
Exactly.
Best piece of advice you've ever been given on or off the field?
Yeah, I would say there's two. For me, it's more connected to sports, but I'm able to translate it otherwise. The first one is a quote that we used to say at my high school during our football workouts from our strength trainer John Estock, who's still at Penn Charter to this day. And we, after every workout, we would say all together, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." And I think that in the moment in high school, we were just saying it because we wanted the workout to be done, and this is what was asked of us. But, you know, if you really, you know, sit back and you think about what that quote is saying to you, you know, character and our abilities are shaped by consistent actions, and that excellence that people see is not a fluke. It's something that we have worked really hard at, and it's not just a one-time event. And we, you know, rather than a product of, it's okay, I'll reset. It's a product of repeated practice and development of good habits over time. And that's where success comes from. You know, some people get lucky in certain moments, but when you see consistent success, it's from consistent habits that we have practiced and tried our best to master. And then I would say,
Like the program we talked about, right? Identify a program that works and stick to the program. Don't lose conviction.
exactly, like for football, you know, there's a summer program and there's a winter program, and you're following specific lifts and specific conditioning workouts and running workouts to be successful and be a better football player, be bigger, stronger, faster. And you see those results over time with the effort that you put in. And I think that's with every other, aspect of your life. And then I would say my second quote is one from my trainer, Kenny Williams, from back home. And I would work out with him in the summers when I came home in between college. And we had some really brutal workouts. It was 5 a.m. Friday mornings on the hill
On
and
vacation, no less.
on vacation. Getting up at 4:15 in the morning is no easy feat when it's still dark outside in the summer and he's yelling in your face. And, we're running up a hill in a neighborhood where every single person is asleep. There's no lights on, there's no cars on, there's no movement. It's just you and 10 other guys running up this hill repeatedly. And he would say, give 100% of whatever you have and you will always get better. And I think that's extremely important to remember in the moments where you're not motivated or you're not driven, you're tired, you're hungry, whatever it may be. If you are able to give 100% of the 50% you have in the tank or the 60% you have in the tank, that you're always taking a step forward, you're always progressing. And this mindset really changed how I approached, sports and how I approached academics. Discipline is, I see it as a way, or it's doing things that you need to do when you're not motivated to do them. And I think that quote really resonates with that.
So there's pressure in that. You get up at 4:15 in the morning. You're on the hill at 5 a.m. You don't want to disappoint your trainer. There's pressure in academics. There's pressure in athletics. There's pressure with what you're going through right now. But pressure is an emotion that we feel. Describe what the feeling is like for you, the feeling of pressure, and how you manage it, Aaron.
Yeah, pressure's hard. I mean, pressure's everywhere. Of course, in sports, you deal with pressure a lot, whether you're getting called on in the film room to pick out what coverage is going on, or you have to study for a test that's really important for your grades. I always think back to, pressure is a privilege, and pressure means that you care. It means you care about the people around you, you care about yourself, and you care about the outcome, which is extremely important because you've put yourself in a situation to feel pressure, which is very, very valuable and can be, a really big learning point for you, whether you succeed or you fail. You succeed, awesome. You conquered this situation. There's gonna be many more that you're gonna have to face, and there's gonna be some that you fail, and you're able to deal with that emotion. You're able to, sun comes up tomorrow, you're going to have another chance to redeem yourself. And for me, pressure, I mean, it's your heart's beating really fast, your blood pressure's up, your adrenaline's through the roof. And being able to handle that, for me, I've learned that I handle it better thinking about my breathing techniques. We've done a lot of mindfulness and mentalness work with our football program at Davidson, and being able to control your breathing, slow your heart rate down, and focus on what needs to be done in the moment, and giving 100% of your effort and your time into that moment is all you can do. The work's been done to that point, and being able to slow everything down and do everything you can to do your job is all that can be asked of you. Pressure is can be debilitating at times, but they're never asking you to do something that you're not capable of. And I think that's something to always remember when you're feeling pressure.
So you have developed strategies over time to invite, it sounds like, and deal with pressure. So you do all of this work, whether it's working on your breathing, practicing, preparing your mind for the pressure, and you have those moments of failure in whatever form it might be. It could be emotional failure, it could be performance failure, maybe you did poorly on an exam, what have you. Was there ever a moment where You encountered a failure and you wanted to quit. And what kept you in it?
Yeah, I would say on the football field, there's not many moments that I've wanted to quit, and I would say that there's been a couple of times outside of that. I feel like a lot of people deal with situations in life where you're like, I've done everything I can, and I don't know what else, God wants me to do at this point. But I think it's when you're thinking about quitting, if you're ever having the thoughts of quitting, whether that's with a team or in the classroom or, in your life, I think it's very important to think of the people around you. Um, I feel like a lot of people that end up quitting are focused on themselves and how they're feeling in the moment. And I think it's really, really important to think about your personal motivations, the people that you play your sport for, or the people that you're trying to succeed for. For me, it's my grandmother. She passed away my sophomore year of high school or of college, and she was someone that was always supporting me, even if I had a really bad game or had a bad grade. She was always there to give you a big old hug with a big smile on her face, and it never changed how she felt about me and how she viewed my future and how I would be able to succeed. So I think it's really important to focus on, the people that care about you and who you are trying to succeed for, because that'll ultimately push you past the point of wanting to quit and give you that little extra motivation to stick it out. And you know the moment of quitting is a point where a lot of people miss out on the really beautiful things that success brings to you. It's right after the point of quitting where the real success comes.
Yeah, what a great answer there at the end. Like we find motivation wherever we can get it. Sometimes it's where we least expect it. And you're absolutely right. Like the difference between winning and losing in any walk of life, at anything you do, is the decision you make when you're tempted to fail, tempted to quit after failing. And you've got it, man. You've got your program, right? So really appreciate you giving us time. I know you have a lot going on, summer, you've got vacation coming up. Appreciate the 20 minutes you gave us. And I'm confident, Aaron, that as you stick to your program, you're going to land a successful first opportunity and then go on to be wildly successful throughout your professional career. I thank you, and excited to know you and excited to continue working with you, Aaron.
Thank you for having me, and I really appreciate you giving me the platform and the time to express my insights and my experiences.